What happened to the Batman Arkham side characters? We all know the story of Batman and the Joker, but what happened to the characters that didn't have a prominent role in the games? From iconic villains to basic thugs we'll get to see from their first appearance all the way to where they currently are in the timeline, and explore how some characters met their bitter end. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe. Let's get started. What happened to Ratcatcher after the events of Arkham Shadow? Ratcatcher was a character that was barely referenced in the Batman Arkham games. That was until Batman Arkham Shadow, where he became really interesting to me, and that was mainly due to Carrie Payton, who is a brilliant actor. Ratcatcher made his first appearance all the way back in Detective Comics issue 585 in April 1988. Otis Flanagan was an exterminator, but over time Otis started to see rats more than just pests. He also gained the ability to control rats to do his bidding. In Arkham Shadow, we find out in the character bios that Otis attempted to assassinate his former employers, but failed and was sent to Blackgate. Here's where he became obsessed with the mysterious Rat King, spreading the word as if he was some sort of prophet. During the Day of Wrath, Otis believed Matches Malone to be the Rat King.
What a fool I was, describing heaven to he who built it.
After this, Bruce leaves Ratcatcher behind in the pursuit of the actual Rat King. After this, Ratcatcher's story gets pretty muddy, with only a Riddler reference in Arkham Asylum. We have to move on to Arkham City, where Ratcatcher was captured and put inside the prison. Although we can't see him in game, we can find some information about how Otis started a small business selling such things as soap, breath mints and buttons. Penguin saw this as a rival business and for that kidnapped Otis. Apparently Otis was thrown to Tiny the Shark, which he somehow survived. Moving on to the Arkham Knight comic books, more specifically the first Arkham Knight Genesis comic. The story starts off with a fight between Ratcatcher and Hush, who Ratcatcher was fooled into thinking it was Bruce Wayne he was going up against at the start. Otis's rats tear through crooked cops that were secretly helping Hush and surround Hush, who's trying his best to protect himself. We finally get a good look at Ratcatcher, who looks fairly worse for wear, missing an eye and an arm, which I originally assumed was with his swim with Tiny the Shark, but blood is pouring out during this fight, so it's more likely a recent injury, unless Hush was to re-injure Otis's long-term injuries. Just as Ratcatcher orders his army to eat Hush alive, the Arkham Knight knees Otis across the face and throws him into the pile of rats, pulling Hush out of it. Ratcatcher shouts at Arkham Knight, "You think you can stop me? I love the feeling of their teeth nibbling away. I've been presumed dead in this town before. Ask Penguin. I'll come looking for..." But before Ratcatcher can finish his speech, the Arkham Knight fries him and his rats, burning them to death. Batman would arrive not too long after to report to Oracle that Ratcatcher along with two officers are down at the northern part of Arkham City. I absolutely loved Ratcatcher in Arkham Shadow, so it's a shame to be killed off outside of the games before we had a proper encounter with him. It probably would be difficult to have a boss fight involving rats, but maybe he could have gotten a smaller side mission. Overall, pretty sad ending to Ratcatcher, who I always believed was going to have some sort of appearance in the later games until this comic book came out, but maybe this is something that can be retconned in the future. Harley Quinn is probably one of the biggest characters outside of Joker and Batman in the Arkham games, when you include her involvement in Arkham Shadow and also Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, first making her appearance in Joker's favour on September 11th, 1992 in the Batman animated series created by Paul Dini. But what happened to Harley after the events of Arkham Knight? In Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, Harley would be recruited by Amanda Waller for Task Force X. This version of Harley Quinn was much different to what we've seen previously, and is more reminiscent of Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn from the 2016 Suicide Squad movie. Harley and the team were tasked with taking out the Justice League, who were apparently being mind-controlled by Brainiac. After killing Flash, Green Lantern, Batman and Superman, they take down Brainiac, but this isn't the last of them, as there are 13 Brainiacs in total that the team need to kill in order to save the world. After all 13 Brainiacs were defeated, It's revealed that the Justice League were clones and that the real Justice League were alive. While that was going on, in the background, Hack, Toymaster and Lawless were able to hack Waller's bombs that was planted in Task Force X's heads, meaning that they were finally free. Harley and the team get into a spaceship and make their escape. What will happen to Harley in the future is unknown. It's highly unlikely that a post-Suicide Squad game will happen, and they probably most likely will stick to games pre-Arkham Knight, but let me know what you think. What happened to Arnold Wesker after Batman Arkham Shadow? Here's another character who made his first physical appearance in Arkham Shadow. Arnold Wesker, who first appeared in Detective Comics 583 in February 1988, a character who is known as the Ventriloquist, basically a loyal servant to a puppet named Scarface. In this game, we actually get a good look at how he got his hands on Scarface in Blackgate Prison, where at the end of the game we see that Scarface shoots a guard, and the last that we hear of them in the game is that they plan to make their way to a boat in order to escape Blackgate. Arnold's appearances become pretty scarce after this, with him only really being mentioned in the Arkham City Police radio chatter, where we can hear a cop reporting a crime that he's committing.
Dispatch. Wesker is taken a hostage and is proceeding to shoot at other officers.
Around this time, Peyton Riley became the new ventriloquist, which some people then assumed meant that Arnold Wesker was killed in the GCPD altercation, but if we go to the comic book Suicide Squad Kill Arkham Asylum, we can actually find him in issue 3. During the riot, Harley, Scarecrow and Arnold team up to make their way out of the asylum. They first make their stop in order to grab old gear, where Scarecrow and Harley put on their old outfits that they wore in Arkham Knight. While Harley is speaking to Scarecrow, Arnold whispers, "Oh yes, there you are, I found you, I am complete." With Harley confused and concerned, Arnold takes Scarface out of the container, which Harley runs over to in excitement, which is quickly shut down as Scarface is more interested in finding a way out of here. Further on in the story, Harley spots a guard attempting to crush Deadshot's head, but as she intervenes, we see that Arnold and Scarface are frozen over in ice. This was done by a defense soldier in a suit that is able to freeze and use fire. Harley taps Arnold on the shoulder in a joking manner, but Arnold and Scarface topple, and once they hit the ground, they shatter into a million pieces. Harley, in a fit of rage, repeatedly hits the guard with her mallet until he's completely unrecognizable. It's a pretty sad and abrupt end for the ventriloquist, who could have been a really unique character for a side mission and could have easily had a similar mission structure to Two-Face, where he could have been robbing banks or maybe just taking hostages. Definitely could see him in a game set pre-Arkham Knight, but let me know what you think. If you're enjoying the video so far and want to support me further, consider becoming a YouTube member, where for only 99¢ per month, you can get access to exclusive videos, early access to upcoming videos, and also exclusive emotes for the channel. What happened to Scarecrow after the events of Arkham Knight? One of the main threats of Batman in Arkham Knight that led to Batman having to reveal his identity was Scarecrow, who made his first appearance all the way back in World's Finest comic issue 3 in 1941. Scarecrow may have succeeded in revealing who Batman was, but victory did not last long, as Batman was able to overcome Scarecrow's fear toxin and got a taste of his own medicine. After defeating Scarecrow, Batman takes him to the GCPD to be locked up, and that's the last we hear of him in the Arkham games. In Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, Scarecrow is mentioned during a cutscene that Harley Quinn learned how fear toxin worked and was able to create her own version using Scarecrow's knowledge.
You think I didn't know we'd have this little reunion one day? Took me years in Arkham to get any sense out of that jabbering kookmeister Scarecrow, but I earned my degree in neurochemistry.
Not much is given in game, but we can see in the comic Kill Arkham Asylum issue 3 that Scarecrow can't really string coherent sentences together and is now just saying random words, which kind of contradicts the game, as in the game Harley mentions that she spent years chatting to Scarecrow in order to get an understanding of the fear toxin, but during the riot it appears that it's the first time in a long time that Harley has met Scarecrow. Arnold even explains to Harley that Scarecrow hasn't been the same not since Batman. This comic is set just before the events of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, so Scarecrow would have had to have told Harley how it works within a day. Fast forward to when Arnold and Scarface were frozen, we see that the Arkham defense soldier switched from using ice to shooting fire from his wrist. Scarecrow gets PTSD from the fear toxin Batman and runs away shouting bat death, repeatedly, leaving Harley behind. Scarecrow leaves not to be mentioned again, so this is really his last sighting. It would be interesting to see if he ever recovers from the fear toxin. I think he did have plenty of screen time in Arkham Asylum and Knight, so maybe Rocksteady are happy to move on from him, so we may only get small appearances or references to the character, but let me know what you think.
Jump scare, Gotham Paladin here. Hello, didn't expect me, did ya? Well, I'm here to make your day better or worse. There's no in between, I'm sure. Robin. Tim Drake made his first comic book appearance in Batman 436 in August of 1989, where he would go on to become the third Robin. In the Arkham games, he made no appearance in Arkham Asylum, but Tim would have a small cameo in Arkham City and was given a more important role in the DLC Harley Quinn's Revenge, at the very least, thankfully. Tim was also featured as a playable character in Knight, where he would help Batman defend Panera Bread Studios and was kidnapped near the end of the game by Scarecrow in order to get Batman to surrender. But what happened to Robin after the events of Arkham Knight? For those who haven't played Arkham Knight's DLC, Flip of a Coin, it is revealed there that Tim and Barbara had gotten married and are spending their honeymoon putting a stop to Two-Face's dodgy plans. Robin headed for Hell's Gate, where Two-Face's money laundering was taking place. After taking out the henchmen working on the operation, Robin makes his way to the main office, where eventually he catches up with Two-Face and with the help of Oracle is able to take him down. Now, this part gets a bit messy. In Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, Task Force X infiltrates a Batcave located in Metropolis. While snooping around, they find a tape of Batman, which was activated when Batman and the Justice League were compromised, and it was meant to play for Tim. And as the team watches the tape, Killer Shark spots Robin's mask on the floor, splattered with blood, implying that Batman may have killed him, as you would think.
I do not think he won.
That's got Robin. Talk about cutting out the middleman.
With Robin, if Brainiac recruited him, then he would have appeared during the story or even at the very last season when the Justice League were finally free. Now, I believe this would have been explained in later seasons what happened to Robin, whether it would be a confirmed death or proof of him living. I feel like this could have been a very interesting mystery that could have been slowly unraveled. Unfortunately, the game does leave a lot of loose ends. Warner Brothers planned Suicide Squad to be as popular as Fortnite, like, okay. And they had another year's worth of content planned for the game, but as we all saw what happened, the game's story got stripped down, the second year was scrapped, and only a skeleton crew was left at Rocksteady to get it all over the line. For now, Robin's fate is unknown, but comment down below whether you think Robin is a gunner or not. Okay, this has been Gotham Paladin, live from the Gotham Radio, wishing you a very great day, and now I'm passing it back over to Foeinform. Arkham Knight is better than Arkham City.
What happened to Hammer and Sickle after the events of Batman Arkham City? During the main story, we go up against the Abramovici twins, conjoined twins from Serbia that worked at a circus before being taken by Joker to Arkham City and surgically separated by Thomas Elliot. The twins would go their separate ways, with Mr. Hammer sticking with the Joker, while Sickle would go on to join Penguin. After the events of the game, we can find the twins in the steel mill together again, regretting that they ever left each other's side.
It is good to be back together, brother.
It was mistake to work for the Penguin. I know that now. I cannot stand being apart again. I wish to be rejoined, brother.
Me too. We spent too long joined to live another moment apart.
Together, we will destroy anyone who stands in our way.
In the Arkham Knight comic book issue 2, Hammer and Sickle stuck by their word, working together for the Penguin, who explains to them that Scarecrow has gone into hiding and hasn't been seen in months, so he tasks the twins in finding out what sort of scheme Crane is up to. Later on in the story, the Abramovici twins head to the toy store in Chinatown, believing that they have a lead on where Scarecrow could be. Mr. Hammer smashes the door down, which leads them to a storage room where they see a giant mirror. Sickle breaks down the mirror to find an old beaten up batsuit covered over an actual Scarecrow. The twins are pleased that they finally found Scarecrow's hideout, but when it seemed like they were on their own father burst through the wall, Grabbing both of them, he mocks them, shouting at them that they are two half-children trying to equal one son, and that he wanted to make up for his mistake by killing them with his own hands. This is revealed to be an illusion created by fear toxin by Scarecrow, who restrains the two brothers to a table. Scarecrow mutters to himself, Penguin needs to be careful what he's looking for, as he might just find it. We cut to Penguin sleeping in the Iceberg Lounge, where he is woken by Mr. Hammer. Penguin angrily questions where the two have been, that he sent them to look for Scarecrow days ago. Mr. Hammer replies, I know, he finally let us go, and he gave us a message for you. The image shows that Hammer and Sickle are conjoined again, with Sickle's mouth stuffed with straw. Penguin takes the two and puts them in the Arkham City Hospital in order for them to recover from the trauma, and hires Tweedledee and Dum to take over for a job, which doesn't go too successfully if you want to check out my Forgotten Characters video to see what happened to them. But that's where Hammer and Sickle's story ends, which is a bit more positive than some, as I was sure Sickle died and that Hammer was attached to his dead twin's body until I saw that they were recovering in the next issue. I always thought that these two were fun mini-bosses, so I'm glad that they're still alive, unlike most people in this video. What happened to Clayface after the events of Batman Arkham City? Basil Carlo made his first appearance in June 1940 in Detective Comics issue 40, where he was originally a guy with a mask, but has dramatically changed since then, becoming an actual shapeshifter. When we last properly saw Clayface, we fought against him at the end of Arkham City, freezing him with freeze grenades, chopping him up and knocking him into the Lazarus pit. In Arkham Knight, it's revealed that Clayface is alive, but in this weird state where he's a pile of clay, unable to transform, due to the Lazarus effects mixed in with the explosion that occurred shortly after falling in. In the last issue of Suicide Squad Kill Arkham Asylum, King Shark was put in a special cell along with the other large inmates of the prison, which were much wider than the regular cells and probably more reinforced. Amanda Waller would visit King Shark quite frequently, giving small talk like how he's getting on in Arkham and has he been good since the Zaz incident. Clayface in the cell beside Shark questions Waller's friendliness and believes she is up to no good, that these questions aren't that she genuinely cares about how Shark is, but it's actually that she's analysing him. As Clayface says, she sees him as a chess piece and she's trying to figure out where on the board to move him. On the night of the riots, the larger inmates really run the show, as they're basically unstoppable. We get a really cool image of Killer Croc, Man-Bat, King Shark and Clayface decimating anyone that gets in their way. The group, now including Grundy, wipe through all the Arkham guards, only leaving themselves to fight against each other, which Shark believes was Waller's plan all along. A brawl breaks out and it appears to be pretty much unwinnable as all of them are pretty well matched. So King Shark makes the decision to make a run for it, rather than wasting time, and heads to the sewers to escape the asylum. We cut to Waller and the rest of her men waiting outside of the exit. Beside them are the piled up bodies of Boomerang, Harley Quinn and Deadshot, who are unconscious. Waller apparently set these big villains up to fight each other, to see who would come out on top, to be the final member of Task Force X. We see down into the sewer that a mysterious figure is walking towards the exit that is quite hard to make out, but is much smaller than Shark or any of the other villains that were battling each other. We get a reveal that it's Clayface, who has changed his appearance to look like Waller, and before the Arkham guards can react, Clayface picks up Waller and pulls her in. Both Amanda Wallers are shouting at the guards to shoot the other one, which stumps the guards as it's too difficult to pick out which one is Clayface and which one is Waller. Before they can even decide, out of nowhere, King Shark leaps into the air shouting, "No blasting necessary," and a loud chomp noise could be heard as Shark rips the head off one of the Waller's bodies, with blood gushing out of them. King Shark, chose correctly, spitting clay from his mouth, saying how horrible Clayface tasted. Amanda questions him on how he knew she was the real Amanda Waller, and Shark replies that humans smell considerably worse than dirt. This is a really weird ending for Clayface, with one of the big questions that I instantly thought of was how he was spewing blood, which could be due to maybe the effects of falling into the Lazarus pit and the explosion, but maybe I'm reading too deep into this. Let me know what you think. Comment down below if you felt that these character conclusions were justified. I'm definitely not a huge fan of Kill Arkham Asylum, the comic book, but I guess it's canon in some way, until Rocksteady release a game post Suicide Squad which retcons the comic, but for now there's not really much we can do. Be sure to like and subscribe. That's all for now. My name is Fo, and Slan.